Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
What's up, everybody? Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. Glad you're with me. I hope that wherever you are experiencing life to the fullest. You're not dealing with devastating storms, flood, drought, hurricanes, you name it. Puerto Rico, devastated by Maria. Can you imagine the entire location where you are, everything being out, the electricity, everything? We're not talking about, an invasion by some army. We're not talking about, something crazy like, the stock market crashes or whatever. We're talking about just a devastating storm. And right now, people are having to really take a look at, how do you survive in this? I saw a report people are sleeping on, just out and about. Where else are you going to go? What are you going to do? It's a flat location, flat island in the middle of nowhere. And a storm that's blowing, 100 plus 150 mile an hour winds coming flat across. How do you prepare for that year after year? I mean, it's like the tornadoes that come through the South every year, same location. We know. I think I was looking at a statistic that said, hurricanes hit these various islands out in the Pacific, in the Atlantic there, once every 4 years. You can pretty much count on it. It's just a matter of what level of devastation. And so, it's going to happen. And what's funny, the people who are the global climate change people that start chiming in, oh, it's the wrath of God and it's man's, blah, 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 this and the combustion and, all the dirty energy and all that. And then you go, well, in 1834, there were 5 hurricanes that hit landfall that did this much damage. They were much more powerful than Irma and Harvey and Maria and whatever else. In 1947, this many hit. In 1923 and whatever. And what you find out is that, people have short memories or they have no knowledge at all of what they're saying. They just spit it out there. That's what Holly weirdos do. Look, here's what I can tell you what I know about weather. Not much. It repeats. And some storms are bigger than others. And the way you measure can be measured based on how much damage it did or the measured wind velocity. But if the wind velocity is 185, 190 miles an hour, and it never makes landfall, who cares? If a bear craps in the woods, do you know? The answer is no. So, it doesn't matter. But when it hits landfall, you can measure in different ways. And you can measure in frequency of all that. And it was funny. I watched some clip. I think it was Jesse Waters. And the guy said, yeah, do we have that clip?
The warmer temperatures or the warmer oceans aren't causing the hurricanes, but they're exacerbating their intensity. How would you respond to someone like that, say, at a bar?
Well, I'm trying to figure out why we've had so many more intense hurricanes than Harvey and Irma. I mean, go and look as far as barometric pressure goes. These storms were not in the top 10, let's say. I think Harvey was
Irma and Harvey not in the top 10 hurricanes in the
as far as
States?
Landfalling intense. The metric that we have is the landfalling intensity. See, we didn't have recons back in the 1800s. All right, in the hurricane season of 1886, where 7 hurricanes hit the United States, 3 or 4 of them major. So you don't know how strong they were out over the middle of the water. We know how strong they were when they hit land.
Yeah, what year it was in the 1800s? Did they have cars that were putting a lot of carbon into the atmosphere back then? I don't think so.
No, let me get my point across. The constant metric is landfall intensity. And these storms, when they made landfall, for instance, Carla was a much bigger storm than Harvey. Harvey just got stuck underneath a cold trough of low pressure. But Carla had hurricane force winds the entire Texas Gulf Coast. Go look at the 1935 hurricane or Hurricane Donna, which did not weaken coming to the Florida coast as Irma did. And Hurricane Donna with what it caused up the eastern seaboard. There are countless examples of storms that are more powerful than this that have hit the United States. We see them out in the water, Jesse, but we didn't see them before.
That's true.
All right, everybody. Welcome back. Kevin Jackson here. It's a Kevin Jackson Show. So, there's an expert who's giving you the details, and he's doing what, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not trying to compare myself to him, but if I were to go talk about hurricanes and climate change and all these different things, because my pretty much argument to it is, guys, Why are you trying to convince me that as the weather changes, that something crazy is happening? It's weather, and some storms are more intense than others. You know, that's just the way it is. Some floods are bigger than others. 100-year flood, 1,000-year flood, whatever. Some floods are just bigger. And it's beyond our control. I love it when man believes that we are so powerful that we control these types of things when we flatly don't. It just shows you leftism believes itself to be so powerful and awe-inspiring when it's nothing. So here's a guy that's saying, look, here's the history of it. And that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to base your analysis on as much information as you can have. And they don't do it. I'll give you a good example too, and we're not going to talk about this segment because it's a short segment, but there was a school I keep talking about, MICDS, in the St. Louis area, and they made, the mandatory reading of an article by a woman, and I'm not kidding you. The woman says, now look, I'm no expert in this subject, but here's the top 10 things that white teachers need to say about race when talking to students. And so it gives you these 10 things, students of color, of course, and it gives you these 10 things that you can't do. You can't say, oh, there is such a thing as reverse racism, and I'm just going from memory. And I thought to myself, what are you talking about? So, but the interesting thing about it is the lady admits she's no expert, but here's my expert opinion. And the school administrators, from the board of the chairman of the board, president of the board, he says this is required reading for our teachers. Now, that would be like saying it is required study for you to read Kevin's book on automotive, engineering, when I know very little about automotive engineering. I'm no dummy. I could study up on it and give you other people's talking points. But if I were you, I'd go get a dude who builds NASCAR engines and probably listen to him before you listen to me, even though I could give you a little bit. That's what the left does. And the sad part is people suffer. They're suffering in Puerto Rico and elsewhere, Houston, Texas before that, and South Carolina. And these people are politicizing it over global climate change and trying to change the world into something that we have no true control over. That's what bugs me. Anyway, tons to talk about. The president's back in the news. He said something on a Friday, or maybe it was early Saturday, I don't remember. It was over the weekend, about NFL, and we got to cover that.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177, or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Beth Cook Moranville, author of Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope.
Hope, that wonderful, wonderful 4-letter word that you may feel completely out of. I wrote this book to give you great hope. It's not too late. If fetal position is an all too familiar place for you, I understand. If the next 60 seconds are too long, this book is for you. Wherever you are right now, whether you're dealing with divorce or death or sickness, take hope. You are going to make it through this pain. Don't roll your eyes. I've walked this road and I know it. The best is yet to come.
Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope from author and speaker Beth Cook Moranville, can be found on Amazon.com or Kindle.com. For more information, visit closerthanyourBreath.com or on Facebook at Closer Than Your Breath.